Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We got a busy day today in the development center, but we thought we would punch up here, had a little bit of time, punch up and give you a view. The bulls are trying desperately to hold on to these markets here after last week. I still think it's a counter move, but we'll see. Our algos, Nicholas, changed gears from a bearish stance to a caution stance, then to a bullish stance. Much is going to ride on that VIX. So now intraday, the machines aren't much interested in what the swing traders are interested in, or investors. They're just not. The machines are going to just track the money flow. When we look at this, 4 a.m. the VIX is turning down. Let's see, this is 8:55. It goes long. It's underwater a little bit, right? So he will have draws, but he will kick them out. 3:10 this morning. 3:10. Europe was in a buying mood, and as Europe opened up, and the NQ is up 2,300. 850. The Dow up 160. 345. Our hedge funds start to open here. They open around 4 a.m., folks. That's when they get started. They're early birds. 850. 820 today. Gold got a little bit of a bid, and this is 3:30 in the morning. Silver, big bid in silver. Oil has been struggling, and Bitcoin went long at about 250, about 3 o'clock. So I think all that money is from Europe. We'll see where it is come this afternoon. We did run the program a little bit. We didn't run it 24/7, but we did run it a little bit into the wee hours of the morning, and that's what it deposited. It's now on again. We haven't had any further trades since very, very early this morning. We're running 5 micros. These are NQ, 5 micro NQs. Amount of intraday margin at this hour is about 15,000. Well, it's not even. At most 15,000, but with the intraday buying power, even less. And I think, right, I got to think about that for a minute. But it's manageable for this account. We're running a program called SMC HFT2. We're running it on point and figure, and we're gonna keep going with it here, and we'll let you watch and see what it does. Any questions about who we are, what we're about? Don't hesitate. You're welcome to visit the website and explore. And if you have any questions, let us know. Our job as traders is very, very, very simple. The markets are going to move up. The markets are going to move down. There's going to be money going this way. There's going to be money going that way. We're here to try to extract our share a little bit each and every day. That's it. Our function is to provide market liquidity. There would be no market if they didn't have activities such as ours. And now it's at much bigger scale. Hedge funds do the same. Otherwise, if everyone was just buying and everyone was just selling, you would have boom and bust, bust and boom. It's the short sellers that provide the rallies, quite frankly, many, many times, as they get things wrong and have to cover. And then it sucks in a little bit of new money around the edges. But we don't really concern ourselves with too much with the macro when we're trading intraday. We just concerned with the money flow and getting the execution in. I guess I don't want to say right, because we will get trades wrong, and hopefully the machine doesn't get too many wrong today, but we'll keep an eye on it. Any questions, let us know. If you want us to plug in any market into any interval, we're happy to do that as well. Enjoy. Let's see, the market's going to open here in another minute or two. Let's see how they're gonna go. Keep an eye on that VIX. Okay, so the program, not me, the program just purchased 5 micros, and the the 5 minutes are along the ES, they're along the NQ, they're along the YM. When you see, you know, it's always a danger, but a concern of mine when we broadcast. This is not a red light, green light, don't know anything about trading or anything that one can just follow. We're not presenting it as such, and I hope there's nobody out there trying to trade that. One is you're also on delay about 30 or 40,000 milliseconds, right? And we're trading down to, 10 to 15 milliseconds. So, you're way, way behind the market, courtesy of YouTube. So we do the YouTube just to show what's possible, but not really trying to hand out the fish. Um, and there are several techniques that one can employ in trading swing machine and going after the trend or going after counter trends. So you have to kind of know what it is you want to do. This program that's running is not trading swing machine, but I like to see it going kind of in the direction of swing. I feel a little more comfortable watching it, but we're going to let it run, and we'll see how we do. We will be on until about 1 o'clock today, right? So we come on a little bit earlier, but we'll need the resources on the computer at 1. So I just want everyone to know. Any questions? Don't hesitate. We're just dressing this up a little bit. I want you to be able to see the run up and the run downs on any particular position, so I didn't space this window dressing very well here. So let me redo it. And we're just blocking out some of the peripheral writing and stuff, so it's a little bit cleaner to look at. Um, that's how we're doing. So we'll just do something like that. And when we're doing this, we're doing it courtesy of Zoom. So that way you can see the run up. We had a run up of 135 and a run down of 220. Currently down 50 or 60. Lots of noise out there on the internet. I see it, about what's next for the market. These market calls going higher, we're going lower. The truth is, nobody really knows, right? Nobody really knows. I saw one this morning where, person drawing trend lines going all the way back to 1929. I think that is foolhardy. Um, it grabs headlines, but I think it's got nothing to do with nothing. Um, Trend lines can be problematic because they can keep getting redrawn. You only need 3 points, and you got to be careful with them. They just keep getting extended. Um, Now we could intervene, right? If this is on your desktop and you're up $118 and you want to take your profit, you could. I mean, there's no rules against that. I'm not going to, but but Susan might, you might, others might. Prefer that you do it on some sort of technical basis. I would prefer that you let the machine handle the losses, and I'm okay with you taking profits anytime. Um, we lean on folks in the beginning to try to let their profits run, so they can kind of just slow down, breathe, and let it play out. The VIX is you can see the VIX is just not having it. 4 a.m. VIX trends down. 4 a.m. is really the start of the American market. That is when American hedge funds, that's when the war room for the U.S. Treasury opens up. That's when they get started. The American public come in, at around now, 9:30 or so, but they've already been up and running. Europe, of course, is coming online around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Any questions, you let us know. I just want to remind everybody again, not a red light, green light system. The 1 minute, you're going to get a lot more trades than the 5 minute. When you see the 5 minute, for instance, like here's the Russell short entry, right? That doesn't mean short. It doesn't. It's a warning. It's an attention grabber. So you may see it oscillate back into a long. So that's what I mean by, I want to be careful. I don't want anyone getting hurt out there. I went red and it went green, and we're not doing that. When you're in Q school, we will take a couple of hours to go through, and then we will also get this tool and program on your desktop, and we'll give you very specific instructions about how to go about trading it, right? And there's a number of different ways that you can do it. But there are some early warnings in here. And if you're merely out on YouTube land, say, oh, there's a short entry. It didn't work. That's not. You don't want to be doing that with anything, quite frankly, right? So, again, we're just trying to create some awareness when we do the YouTube, and also make ourselves available to answer any questions that folks might have. All right, so I'll be nearby, and we'll let you watch, and um, we actually have a trade counter, and I can show you. Let's see here. Hide plots, not hiding. Here they are. Here, add. So this shows us since 4 a.m. this morning, there have been 7 long and 7 short 1 minute trades. That's how many. There's been quite a few on the ES alone. On the NQ, on the 5 minute, for instance, and we just changed gears, just took a short. There haven't been any, right? Because it's been in a short since 310, so it hasn't registered at all. It hasn't registered any. The Russell has just had 1 5 minute, so we're going to have many more 1 minute trades, as you would expect. Then we'll have 5, and that would be the same case if we went to 60 minute or went to daily, right? There's going to be, the larger the segment, the less trading you're going to do. That can be good. You can have larger payoffs, but you can also have larger losses and larger drawdowns. So you have, that's why we kind of start everybody, not just 1 and 5. It's actually 1, 3, 5, but as an example, so we can actually count the number of trades. And we can drill down and get even other specifics too. What is the most recent? What are the run-ups looking like? What are the rundowns looking like? How long are these trades lasting for? And all sorts of data that the machine is collecting for us over what you want, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, three. You don't want to go too far back, but but you could go back as far as one chooses. So I'm going to go hide these again because we don't use them day in and for every minute, and I'm hiding them just to save space. And the way I do that is I just come here and I remove the counters. Where are they? Down here, someplace. Here they are. So we're just going to remove them. These are the columns to the program, and there they go. And then we're back to our space, and we are currently short. She took a little loss on that in the beginning, but we'll see if she can settle down and get ourselves a nice big fat tuna or a pike or a big fat trout on the end of the line and let her run. Let's see if she'll do it. She had a very fine day yesterday, didn't she? So just to comment, the 5 minute is short entry. It's not short yet. It's not officially short. It's trying though. If the conditions that set this off stay true, then this box will turn completely red. This box will turn white with a red 2 in there. At that point, it'll start counting. And then it would take a full 10 minutes to reverse course. Now, if there are some anomalies here, it isn't a weakness of the software. If markets get chaotic, chaotic, we see some of this on the 1 minute, less at the five, certainly less at the larger. But if markets get very, very fast, very, very chaotic, and even the hedge funds start throwing in market orders, then it can skip like a sprocket, like your bicycle. But it isn't a fault of the code. It's just, the market. We're doing the best we can to overlay a program onto what in essence would be all this tick data. If you were to see it just for what it is, it would be like a snow globe. It would just be a bunch, those snow globes, and you just shake it up and just see it, the shit just floating all over the place. Well, that's what the tick data would really look like. So we're taking a mathematical algorithm, and we're basically laying it over that snow globe, and it's trying to interpret the the more significant moves of it, right? And that's what we're doing. And we'll see how we do. We're not trading swing machine right here, right now. We may have, well, I'm sure we have members that are either manually or automatically. We're trading on another view. We're trading this program. We have 5 micros robotically trading SMC, which is stock market caddy, HFT2 on a point and figure chart. At the moment, she's hasn't done much, nor has the market. You can kind of tell it's very, very mixed. ES seems to be struggling up here around 6,400. By the way, the ES 5 minute has in fact confirmed short. We'll see if that sticks. Note the time, 9:50. 9:50. I'm not suggesting you take the trade, right? But the machine is short. It's short at what price? 6401.50. Now, if he gets it wrong, he'll go the other way. The market that is not cooperating here, we even have the Dow now confirming short, which is no big deal. And we have the Russell, which is a little bigger deal because that can be an indicator in and of itself for risk appetite. That is also confirming short. The Nasdaq, they're not having it, right? The Nasdaq is the one fighting this. Now we see the VIX, and we see the VIX. It's ripping against. See a little of the buying, the green. So the VIX is a reflection. It's a bet on the options market, and if they think the call buying is going to cede or slow, and the put buying is going to pick up, they'll come into the futures market and they'll start making a bet on that. This is $50 a tick. It's very expensive, and they'll buy thousands of these things. And so we keep an eye on it. It hasn't gone yet. You know, if this Nasdaq should let go, I don't know what's driving the Nasdaq. Something's got it going. I mean, you can see it, right? I mean, it's like they usually all go together. So the fact that this one isn't going, I don't know what's behind it. I don't know if there were earnings this morning on something. It could be. So it's a little mixed. The program is doing its thing though. I'm not even looking at it, quite frankly. Um, Now we only have today is a Thursday, so you could have. It's usually best to do it on the long side, but there's something called zero DTEs. It's kind of a binary bet. So you could play this on paper, but you could look. Okay, we just took a hit there, and she just goes long on the Nasdaq. That's too bad, but and you could I would be inclined to go on the dark side. I would be looking at a put that maybe expires. This would be speculative money, a little bit of mad money, right? Very, very speculative. Maybe don't expire it on Friday, but maybe expire it, and they got options that can expire on like on Monday, should this thing pull in. Something is driving that Nasdaq. They've just been really, I mean, the relative strength on it is really something. I think Bitcoin, for the most part, too, is moving with the Nasdaq. Nasdaq rallies, Bitcoin rallies. Nasdaq sells off, Bitcoin sells off. Very speculative. Now, as you watch this, you could be doing this, right? But be up to you. You would have to learn and get comfortable. But could you come in here and grab the $128? You could, right? And you could just wait for the next one. And you want to grab the other hundred, and the next time 130, 140, and do that 3 or 4 times, before noon, and make your 500 or 600 bucks. Okay, you could do that. And do you have the patience, the tenacity and patience? Or are you going to try to say, I got to make $5,000 in a day? Make $500 a day, over 20 days, you're going to have 10 grand in your account. But you got to be patient. Right? Just, All right, so what I'm going to do is the fact that the ES is struggling, the fact that the others are, I am going to go in and scalp it. And I'll probably have it wrong. Um, so bear with me. She's going to ask me, I disable it, and now I'm going to close it. All right, so I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to rearm the strategy. And I'll tell you why I did it. Now, like I say, I could be wrong, but I'm looking here and I'm thinking, I mean, I've got the VIX coming up. I've got the ES kind of struggling up here at 6,400. I got the Dow not doing that great. The Russell's not doing that great. Um, Nasdaq, I can see that that they certainly are buying it up. But you know what? I'll just take the profit, turn the machine back on, gives me a little marginal profit, and and if this Nasdaq should roll over and join the rest of it, I think I'd rather be on the dark side, and especially with that VIX. If that VIX can come up, so that's what I'm thinking. Probably a little more than I should, and we'll see if I get away with it. That's about it. The strength of the Nasdaq is palpable, isn't it? I think they'll get it. I think that'll be the final curtain here for today. I think the other markets will carry the day, and that Nasdaq rolls over. If that Nasdaq rolls over from here, I think there'll be some really really nice money, and we'll be on it. But we shall see. But the relative strength at this moment in time is very distinct, isn't it? ES trending down, Dow trending down, Russell trending down, gold trending down, the VIX trending up, Nasdaq trending up. Unusual, unusual. Okay, so the VIX now is on a 5 minute is confirmed um, long, right? Which means that the markets are going to be under pressure. That confirmed at 10:10. It didn't lead. The ES led. I'd prefer that the VIX had led, but it's following now. It's reacting to the ES. The Nasdaq, in my opinion, we'll see, and the machine will pick up on it. Isn't going to be able to fly alone. They're all it's all money flow, So they can depart for a few hours, maybe even for a day or two, but usually they all go together. It's these guys, it's all in, all out, for everything they say about diversification. So here's the NQ now is now on the 1 minute is confirming, and now the 5 minute NQ is dipping. So I'm feeling better about my decision to grab that little bit of profit. And although we're not trading Swing Machine, the other program should pick up the sell off on the NQ. So at 950, you guys would have seen it at 950. No, it's not instantaneous, right? You have to, if you find yourself, very impatient or very nervous, you're probably trading too big, right? You're trading too big, putting too much leverage on. Um, you got to start out very, very small so you can withstand it and learn to, not pay attention to the money and just fly the plane. So we'll see if we get what we expect here, and I'm going to stay out of the way. If the trade goes in, it will be going in, but we have the VIX now trending up. We have the ES at 950 trending down. That position is with a mini is up $600. The Nasdaq is feeling the heat, feeling the pressure. It's fighting and fighting and trying to hold on, but it should lose its grip. The Dow is 950, 945. See how it plays out. If you're battling your emotions and you can be battling it with anything. It could be a swing machine, it could be a program, could be anything. And why I say it's usually the money, I can put enough leverage on to create stress. I choose not to because I know, right? So if I had put on 10 mini contracts, it wouldn't be up 600, it would be up 6,000. Well, that might be enough to create some stress, right? you know, Especially if you're down 6,000. So it's all relative. If you have a small account, and you're putting on any individual trade, you're putting 10, 20, 30% of your account at risk on a singular trade, you're not going to be here. You won't survive. You won't. You'll just be constantly adding money and making the same mistake over and over again. If you use such little leverage that you get sloppy, so if you're trading a micro and you're like, oh, it's only $50. I'm going to let it go. It's only $50. Well, then you don't really work on your discipline. And when you get to a mini, that 50 is not 500, right? And so, you're not really, training your psyche. You're not so you've got to come at this very thoughtfully and very mechanically and very incrementally, a graduated trading approach. Back years ago when I learned how to ski, I don't know if they still do, they talked about a graduated skiing method. They would put you on the bunny slope with little baby skis. They were little short things. They would teach you how to turn, how to turn. You do that for a couple of hours, then you go back to the pro shop or the clubhouse there, ski house, and they would give you skis that were a little bit longer. And you'd go out and you'd do a little bit longer. And then they come back and you do that for a couple of days. The next thing you know, before you know it, you're actually skiing with regular length skis. Okay, so I'm going to mark this up together and we'll see how this plays out, right? And I'm not suggesting anybody do anything of any kind, but let's go ahead and mark this up. So we look at the VIX, and the VIX, we watched it together. The VIX goes long at 10.10. That means that those that are playing in the futures markets at $50 a tick, and they trade thousands of these things, they're betting that the options market isn't going to be buying calls and they're going to be buying puts. See, when the options market, when they buy calls, the broker dealers got to buy stock. When they don't buy calls, the broker dealers don't want the stock; they want out, right? So, and that's what's moving the day-to-day action. So let's look at the ES though, and we'll pick the same time frame. And in the 5 minute, went short in advance. We all saw it at 9:50 at 6401.50. And yes, if you took it with one mini contract, you're up $1,000. If you did it with 10, you're up 10,000. They trade thousands of these things. Yeah. No problem, Triplet. Rob, I'm going to be sending you either later today or tomorrow a link. And 1 o'clock on Monday is going to work out great. Rob is in Q School. That is Rob, right? Triplet? Is that Rob? I think it is. I got to make sure I didn't confuse the screen names. If I got it wrong, let me know. I think it's Rob. So, and we'll go over in detail. Now, before, yeah, it is. Okay, I thought so. I had a brain fart there for a minute. So we all saw that, right? We also saw the Dow at 950 selling down. And if you took that with a mini, you're up 1,500. If you did it with a micro, you're up 150. You did it with 10, you're up 15,000. We saw the Russell at 945, actually leading it. Now I don't give much importance to the Dow because it's only 30 stocks, and sometimes the Dow goes up because money is going there for safe haven. So I don't really look at it, but that much. Nor do I trade it much. But the Russell we do, because the Russell represents the speculative stocks, the small caps, and the gamblers and the speculators and the hedge funds, they love to play in that space. So when that bitch is trading down, that can be an indicator in and of itself that they're not very frothy. They're not feeling very speculative. But what was problematic was the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq wasn't playing. And that's why I intervened and grabbed that little profit that we had. And but now, look, 1025. It followed that. It's like, okay, we better get out of here. And that's actually the signal right here. That 5 minute. Please don't anybody trade this, but that is the signal. It turns completely red and then a 2. By the way, these signals, we don't send them out. We report on them at night, which is on a daily closing basis. But if you want them to be sending you alerts, you can do that, right? At TradeStation, you can have these tools, and Rob is going to be able to, he wants to know when the 5 minute is doing something, he is going to be able to program that and have that alert go to his phone or his email, whatever he wants. So you can actually, develop your own alerts. Now it takes time, and in the meantime, behind the scenes, what's trading up here are 5 micro NQs robotically trading a specific program on something called point and figure. Now it's only 5 micros. I could go up and take it. You could intervene mechanically and take the $300, and we got $400 for the day. And then we go do something else. We take the dogs to the park. We put them in the pool. We go for a swim. Just you know, this isn't. We're here all the time. I'm here all the time because I want to be here all the time, right? We're not trading as much as you may think. We do trade, right? But we're probably not trading as much or as frequently as you think. And that's where I spend quite a bit of time with folks like Rob and Daniel um, and Chris. Chris might be here too, and during their Q schools, and I love doing it. I love doing it. I love helping people, empower them to get done what they want to get done. And you'll be doing it for the rest of your life. You'll be doing this to your in your 90s, as long as we still have markets. I hope we do. I think we will. So we'll see how this plays out. And but Rob, I will be sending you a private link and with some and setting your expectations a little bit, and then we'll get underway. We'll let everyone watch. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see if these guys stick. Now, Swing Machine doesn't have an ego, right? So he's not, you know, he's just going to do what he does. He doesn't really, if he's going to change his mind and go the other way, that's what he's going to go do. And if I see any hints of that, I'll try to, offer an observation. But in the meantime, these markets are turning down. And, we could be here. We're going to be here. I'll let you watch until about 1 o'clock. Then we need the resources. You may be looking at 10:25. It's 10:30 now. It might be 12:30, 2 hours from now, and this thing could be up $5,000. It could be. I don't know. I don't know. And sometimes we'll get comments from folks, and they'll say, Don, I don't get it. How come? How come I only make 200 and it goes on to make 2,000? And how come it makes 5,000? I only make, 800. Well, if you are reacting to the money, then, that can be part of the issue. So we have to drill. And just like a pilot, the pilots talk about, not listening to your inner ear. And those military pilots, they drill, they drill, they drill. I'm not a pilot, but I gotta believe it's gotta be like really, really uncomfortable in the beginning. You imagine flying a plane at 600 miles an hour and you can't see anything. Ooh, just the thoughts of it, right? Or faster. And you're in the mountains and you can't see the horizon. You can't see shit. It's just soup. And all you see is your gauges, and you gotta trust that machine. That's a little. And if it gets it wrong, it's over. Are you kidding me? I don't even like the thoughts of that. Right? We're not doing that. We are using machinery, but 5 micros isn't going to kill me. It's not going to kill my account. Right? I could put on a lot of leverage that would hurt me. I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that. Been doing this way too long. Early on, we tell the story, early on, many, many, many years ago, I did put on so much leverage that I got what is called myopic vision. I became so fearful that my vision, like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? Right? Now, I survived that, but I'm like, people can't be doing that. They can't be doing that. And we stopped. It happened twice. It's never going to happen again. Terrible. Terrible. You don't want to do that. So we will share our experiences that have been acquired over time, and we do so that folks will, hopefully not make, we'll share our mistakes, so you hopefully don't make those mistakes. We want positive outliers. We don't want negative outliers. We don't want any of them. You will have losses. You will have losers, but we don't want real negative outliers. I'll let you watch. Now you can literally see the 1 minute is obviously the most sensitive. But notice this is the most sensitive aspect. This is another aspect of the tool, but we'll focus on this one. So you see the 1 minute, a little bit of buying, little bit of buying, little bit of buying. Those are just machines, right? Those are the hedge fund machines, and they may have gone short an hour ago, and they have trailing stops too. They're taking stuff, they begin to take stuff off. But that's how sensitive swing machine is. It doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily turn around and go. They don't. They're not as smart as you think, right? They're not, and they're not as fast as you think. One of the things that they do that retail traders don't, they add leverage, right? They get onto a position and they will push it and push it and push it. And they might take a little bit off, trim it, but then they'll come back and they'll come back with even more and more and more. And they'll do this on any interval, on any time frame, and on any market. That's what spooks me about Bitcoin. It's huge, huge leverage, and they'll leverage in like there's no tomorrow. But boy, when they pull the plug, they pull it, you know, and they'll leave everybody holding the bag. Not us. That ain't gonna happen. Now, if you are bearish, right, intraday here, which we are looking at this, we want to see that VIX stay long on a 5 minute. We want to see that stay there. And then we want to see this 5 minute and this 5 minute. We want to see them stay put. And I don't know if they begin to reverse. What will happen is you'll see buying coming in on the 1 minute on each of them. Probably the NASDAQ first, right? And then what will happen is they'll put so much pressure on the machine, it doesn't dissipate, and the 1 minute begins to rip and then actually goes long. But the 5 minute may still be short. That would be a counter trade, right? And we will teach to avoid the counters in the beginning. We want you going after the trends. It's easier, make more money, it's just easier. Eventually, we'll teach you how to do the counter trending. What's tricky about trending and counter trending is every you make more money with trends, even on the micro level, but they're less frequent and they don't win as much on a winning percentage, but they pay more. The counter trends, they're more frequent, they pay a little, but they have, if you're executing properly, they have a very high winning percentage. So they're very seductive. Like I'm going to get and make more money. So you may or may not want to do that. The other part of it is that every trend starts with a counter trend. So every trend starts with a counter trend. You may be like, well, why don't I just counter trend? Because not every counter trend becomes a trend. You don't know. So that's the tricky part. And that's where Swing Machine is also trying to discern. So here we're seeing evidence of this here. This is just little see little, and it's just little profit taking by their machines. We'll see, right? But I'm not gonna narrate. Trust me, when we're trading and the machines are trading, I got my nose buried into other projects, other things. I'm not even thinking about it, right? And I gotta believe when the pilot is flying his plane at when he's doing his thing, he's probably not even thinking about it, right? I mean, I don't know what he's thinking about, but I would have a hard time, right? You would probably have a hard time. Maybe some of you guys are pilots. But they probably have done it, so many times that they just do it. And you want to get your trading to that place. That's when you will transcend everybody else completely, and you'll be in rarefied air. you can literally see it, you can feel it, that, with these little counter trends, they're trying, the machines are trying to hold on to it, and in those 5 minute trends keep knocking them back, knocking them back. Eventually, if we get it, they'll give up the ghost, and as long as that VIX stays up there, and then this thing could really accelerate. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything with their money. Not a good idea. But if you're making decisions on the money, like you're focused on the money, up there on the left or wherever, or you're putting on so much leverage that you just keep focusing on it, um, it's going to be very hard to fly the plane. So we will work with Rob. We work with everybody to get your focus off the money onto the instruments, whatever the instruments are. There's a lot of different ways to fly the plane. Doesn't have to be really fast either. Excuse me. And now one of the things is as you watch this, and is to keep one's emotions in check. But just ride with me for a moment. Think if you have all the tools, you know what's available to you. You settle in on one or two. You have a block of money. You come at this slow, methodically, disciplined. Now, we could come in. We've had a drawdown of 142. We've had a run up of 365. If we closed it right now at 150, if you give me that, right? That's over $300. Then just stop. Learn to stop. Go do something else, right? Do another job. Sweep the driveway, clean the pool, play with the kids, walk your dog, do something else. Come back tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Friday, so you probably want to be getting the habit of taking Fridays off. Spend it with your family. Um, when you start doing that, there's something that happens that you may not fully appreciate, but I can describe this. You will miss it. You will be thinking, man, oh, I could still be trading, I'd be making more money, and da, 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 da. You'll be thinking that. But if you can push yourself away from it, when you come back the next time, you'll be eager, but you'll also be more patient. You'll say, yesterday, man, I started trading at 9, 9:30, if that's when it was, and I was all done by 11. Man, I had nothing else to do all day. So maybe I don't have to rush in at 9 o'clock with all the other jabronis, firing in. I got to buy, buy, buy. And they all want to buy, by the way, right? They don't even understand selling. What? How can I short? They don't even get it. So, so you just, you've got to sit down and we're going to have this discussion over and over with Rob and over with everyone that's in Q School. And it's an intellectual discussion, and we're not trying to change anyone's belief systems, but we are trying to show and to think about it before we begin, executing it, right? Um, I wasn't that great of a football player. I played for a small little team up in the Northeast, small. But there was a guy who was a coach of it was where Davy Day Trader went to high school, Swampscott High, and the coach there, very small high school, but they had a hell of a football team, hell of a football team year after year. In fact, they had some professional athletes. They had a guy who went on to be a coach or whatever, Dick Geron. They had other names as well. And and our coaching was like, I don't know, they were gruff. I had played since I was like in Pop Warner. I had good coaches and then had some bad ones, when it was most important. And we would hear about how on the hottest of days, he would move his team indoors, indoors on the gym where it was air conditioned. We would hear about this. We were like the next town over, like, what the hell? But he was teaching them how to run the plays, just executing, you know. And so they were really, really good at executing. And I also understood, I'd been playing long enough, that he was really teaching them what we had learned in Pop Warner, the execution in the game. At the high school I was at, they just put some jabroni who was the gym teacher as the coach of the football team. And he didn't know shit from Shinola. He didn't. And all he thought was, we just go out and hit each other, and and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. But I guess that the point being is that you want this trading should be fun, and you just want to learn the basics of executing, and it will be fun. And the other thing is too, we actually heard, we couldn't believe it, right? The guy we had was so crass. It would be this time. Why I'm thinking of it's this time of the year we would be going in another week or two. Would be going into double sessions, and I hated that week. It was hell week, and he would take like the water. I think it's amazing we weren't all come down with ptomaine or something, but and he would take the water and he would just dump hundreds and hundreds of salt tablets in there. Right, we'd all reach in there with our dirty hands and everything. It was just disgusting. It was like drinking salt water. Oh, you got to have your salt. And we would hear that Bondalevich, after they had practice, he would have the ice cream truck come, and he'd give them ice creams. Like what? You know, like they loved the guy, and they loved to play, and they loved the game. And year after year, Swampscott High School, under this coach Bondalevich, was just and a small school, was a powerhouse. And they weren't big either, but they were good. They were really good. Execution, discipline, patience, fun. Supposed to be fun, not a source of aggravation. Fun, you know. Okay, that wasn't me who took that trade out. I kind of wish it hadn't, but it did. It trailed out. We had a trailer, it got activated. And the trailer was set at a $500 profit. Once it got up $500, if it came back more than 50%, it's going to take the bread. And that's what it did. It was programmed to do it. I don't usually use a lot of trailers, but I am using it on this program. And there's different types of trailers to use. Probably going to probably have left a lot of money on the table. That's what I'm thinking. But you know what? We'll be okay. You know, Okay, so the machine just went in again, so I'm okay with that. I'm all right with it. And that's off the program. That wasn't me. Let's take a look. We got the VIX going along at 1010. That's good. Here's the ES contract. Remember when that was struggling for 100, 200, $300? You know, it was struggling. It was at 950. If you took it, we most certainly have members that did, and they still have it. And they have a mini. They're up 1700. Here's the 5-minute NQ at 1025. Came much later, much more stubborn. That one's up 700. Look at the sleepy Dow. The Dow also at 950, 2 grand. And here's the Russell, 1300. Russell uses the least amount of margin of all of them. Dow doesn't use that much either. Gold suddenly is trying to come up. You can see it. In the meantime, our little program is doing its thing. We had a high water mark of what, about $700 or $800 earlier this morning, and we're net a couple hundred. Okay, hey, I'm not working that hard. We'll see how it does. It's funny. I don't really follow the guy. I don't subscribe or anything. I follow him on Twitter for for sports. But Dave Portnoy just posted a video of himself playing Pop Warner in Swampscott, Massachusetts. I don't know. I don't know if he's too young to have played under Bondalovich. He may not have. He may have. He may have. Um, which I found. I was just mentioning it. It's just this time of the year. In fact, his little video is just football season, right? So um, it just reminds me of it this time of year as we gear up. But they did, and they had a program. It kind of led up to it. The kids started out really young, and got to when they got to high school. I mean, they were really, really playing the game, and I had been playing, but as a kid, as we came through, and then we got to high school, it was very disappointing because they were just knuckleheads. I didn't have much respect for the coaches, and they just didn't. They just weren't very good. They were mean bastards too. They were. I go. My. If I was to go back to my younger self, I think I'd get right in their face, tell them to f off. So let's take a look. Here is the VIX 5 minute went long at 10:10. We called it out. The 5 minute ES went short at 9:50. That was 15 minutes before the VIX. It took a while. Remember, it was up. It was down 100, down 200, up 100, down 200. It oscillated there. If you stayed with it, you'd have a mini. You're up 1,700. If you did it with a micro, you're up 170. If you did it with 10 minis, you're up 17 grand. Take the rest of the day off. Let's save the NQ. Let's go to the Dow. 950. It also turned down. 2,200 bucks. Did it with 10 of them? 22 grand. One thing I like about the Dow is that Dow does trend. Not as crazy as the Nasdaq. Here's the Russell. 945, 5 minutes before. 1,400. Doesn't use that much margin. You could get a bunch of them in there. If you did it with 10, you have 14 grand. Did it with a micro, 140. The stubborn one was the Nasdaq. It didn't want to go. And that's the one where you got the program on. It didn't go until 1025, and it's oscillated, as you guys know. It's still been, it's the strongest one of the four. We're running this little program. We had a high watermark earlier today, about 8 or 900, I think 7, 8, 900, and we're currently parked at 383 and looking to end our day early. Any questions? Let us know. I have not made one decision to go in or one decision to go out. The machine's done it all, for better or for worse, right? Okay, so just to offer an observation, what do you see? You see the 1 minute on all four of them, and particularly the NASDAQ, coming up. Those are trailing stops coming up. So they're actually buying at the 1 minute level. That's going to put pressure on the five. The 5 minute trends are still down. The likelihood is, the probability is, that the 5 minutes trends will stay down. And that these are just trailing stops, fish hooks to suck in other money. They may go from a rip, they may go into a long. And what type of trade would that be? If one entered into the long, would be a counter trend of the five. Can you make money on those? Yes. Will it be much? Probably not. It'll be also probably short lived. Now, every once in a while, those counter trends will be manifest themselves into a new trend, and they pay huge because you happen to catch the trend. But more often than not, that isn't the case. So we're going to get a chance to see. I'm not trading any of that right now, right? I'm just offering an observation. I don't want to see anyone get hurt here, or it's trying to red light, green light this thing. We have a very specific methodology that we teach on this, and we actually go to a blank screen and run through the blocks, the logic behind it, how one would do it, and then we encourage you, and we'll encourage Rob to execute in that fashion. And we'll do it in the beginning without looking at a chart, right? If we put up a chart, we would have many more folks watching, right? Because they want to see a chart. They just want to see the chart. But if you can learn to trade without a chart, I mean, we use charts and we do look at them, and you will be able to look at them. But if you can learn to trade without them, you might you might find it better. You might. We'll see how this plays out. But the 5 minutes is still in place. If I have to, come back in, I will and explain. But and in the meantime, the robot is doing its thing over here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. And I did not place any of those orders and I didn't take any of those off. That was also the machine. We're going to turn the program off, right? That's also my prerogative. And our week is coming to an end. We've had a pretty nice week. If you can do $681 dollars a day, 5 days a week, you're going to do over $10,000 a month. I'm Bagged On Stock Market Caddy. Let's take a look at the VIX. 1010, 950. Remember when this one was struggling for 100, 200? It's 2100. 1025, 1600. 950, 2300. 945, 1400. Now we weren't trading swing machine, we were trading something else. It's only a fraction of that, but it's still fine. As traders, we don't get it all. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'll be here, but at 1 o'clock we will be turning down. But I'm going to go in, if you guys don't mind, and we're going to deactivate the strategy. And so let me do that before it picks off another order because I don't want it to order anymore. Hit disable, and she's disabled. Very fine. Very, very pleased. If you're getting it done with whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it. If you're not, we invite you to visit Stock Market Caddy. I'll be here to answer any questions. Thanks. Okay, everyone, I'm going to remove the brackets and so we don't cloud it. But the VIX is still there, but it's dipping, so we might see a little bit of a bounce. So we're going to remove that bracket. This is still short. It's had a nice run up and it's still short. We might get another run up. But we're in the house with what we're in the house with. And we'll try to punch up tomorrow for a little bit, but we're done trading for the week. Um, we've had a very fine week. We have multiple accounts, we have multiple positions, we trade futures, we trade options. Here we try to keep it focused on the NASDAQ because it has the most interest in what we're trying to pique, P-I-Q-U-E, pique one's curiosity is to say, hey, what does this algorithmic trading look like? What is it all about? What are we doing? And from there, maybe folks will visit Stock Market Caddy. And we realize that it's not going to be the masses. That's totally okay. That's not why we never set out to do that. We're not. So I wish everyone the best. At 1 o'clock, this broadcast will come to an end, but I do say thank you. Rob, if you're still listening, I will be sending you a note either later today or tomorrow with a link, and you and I will be connecting personally one-on-one. Rob is joining the folks that are in their individual Q schools, and so we'll be together for quite a bit in the weeks ahead. All right, everyone, I'm gonna step aside. If there's any questions, let us know. So here we be. Here we be. We still have our 681. No problem. I'm not going to get, I'm not going to be full of recrimination. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. Oh, man. No, we don't do that. We leave that to Dave Portnoy and the gamblers. That's not us. No, we're not throwing things at the big screen in our computers. And no. Let's take a look. 1010. Remember that one? 1010. 950. Do you remember the first 100, 200, the 500, the 1,000, the 1,500, now 2,300? I don't know where it's going. Still going though. Remember? Remember? 1025. Remember how difficult that one was? It went up 200, it was down 300. It went up 500, it was down 500. But it stayed put. It's now up 2,300. The Dow, 950. Remember when it was up 500, 1,000? Now it's up 2,400. 945. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now thousands and tens of thousands of people will watch CNBC all day. And just make them more and more stupid. But they do. I'm back it on. This is Stock Market Caddy. At 1 o'clock, we'll need screens. We'll need to turn down. I wish everyone the best. Thank you.